Hey guys, welcome to another episode, another daily download on She Knows Arsenal. Make sure you guys are liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And also, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm actually I'm not muted because yesterday I was muted for like at least 5 minutes. I was talking my head off. And you guys were like, Jess, you're muted. And so I'm just like making sure because now I'm like, okay. I don't want to be muted again. But yeah, you guys make sure you're getting in the chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. I see Demetrios here. Good morning to you as well. Don't forget, you guys, we will be doing a live watch along for England versus Slovenia after this show. So make sure you guys click the link in the description to RSVP for that or to join that watch along. That is going to be the code for it is going to be Jessica, Jessica, which it always is. So, yep. See, the chat is coming through now, which is great. And you guys, we have a little visitor, Bex. He's just like the best, you guys. He's gotten, for those of you guys who have been on these streams for a while, this is like our third week together, me and Bex, I think. So you guys saw him when he first came. He's a little bigger now. He's bigger, he's more mature, he has his own likes and interests and things like that. So yeah, make sure you guys give Bex a little hello in the chat. He's sleepy and mad that I'm doing this stream instead of laying in the bed. But yeah, on today's show, let's talk about Bakayoko. Arsenal are reportedly leading the race for Bakayoko. A couple of different Dutch-based journalists or Netherlands-based journalists have basically confirmed Arsenal's interest in Bakayoko, what the fee would be or roundish the fee would be. So that's something we could definitely talk about. And then I also wanted to just touch bases again on the Eze conversation that we had yesterday, because it's been confirmed again by Ed Aarons, I think might be the Guardian. I have to check back on that it is Manchester City, Tottenham, and Arsenal that are all considering going in for Eze. So that's interesting information. Saliba is going to start for France. I did see something weird this morning. It's like every time the French lineup is about to come out, somebody is like, oh, well, Konate is going to start. They're thinking about putting Konate back in only for Saliba to start. So it's been confirmed that Saliba is going to start for France against Poland. Again, Poland have already been eliminated from the Euros. So I think this is kind of a dead rubber. So I wouldn't have actually minded if Konate had started this game, to be honest, because it's like, listen, let's risk him. Like, let's not risk our guy, right? And then, England versus Slovenia. And I'm pretty sure both Declan Rice and Saka will start that game. Also, just another little nugget here is that a couple of Arsenal players that haven't gone to the Euros have went into a little camp in Marbella, I think it is. And that would be like Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith-Rowe, Odegaard is going to join up. Ben White is a part of it as well. So preseason is around the corner. And I know that a lot of Arsenal fans are a little bit worried about transfer business and why isn't the transfer business started. I think it's just getting beyond the June 30th date where everybody that has PSR issues needs to like make a sale or whatever, and Arsenal are not in that category. Once July hits, and then I think like once the Euros ends, Arsenal will get more involved in terms of like transfers. But I know it's like nobody knows what we're doing, so the panic is happening. Calma, like it will start at some point. I just feel like we need to give it a little bit of a chance, you know. Let's see what the chat is all saying. Boy says Nathan Tella is an invincible. Really? Le Productor says, hello, audio is great. Thank you. Ramen says, good morning, Terry. Hope you're doing well. Who's Terry? Who's Terry? I'm not Terry. Raman says, morning, Jess. Shubham says, good morning, Jess, and to all. Boy says, don't want Eze, plain and wary. And Kai says, we are not getting Eze. He's like 27 or 26. I mean, I kind of would, I don't know if I really agree with that. If it's not really about his age. I feel like he has, even though he's a little bit older, like Bruno G is 26 too. So if we were to buy him, he'd be the same age. 26 is not the same as like Kimmich being like 29. I think the only player that I thought of that was a little bit older that we may not go for is like a Gyökeres. Even though he's 26, it's not just the fact that he's 26, it's the fee associated and the lack of like proven in the league that we play in. And so I actually don't think Eze's age is a problem. I actually think it's a plus. It's a pro for him because he's not somebody, if you're going to spend 60 million on somebody, which is the quoted fee. Sorry, it's hot in here, guys. But is the quoted fee for Eze, you would want them to probably be a little bit more proven. And so, like, essentially what you would be saying is, how are we going to upgrade on Emile Smith-Rowe? The way to upgrade on Emile Smith-Rowe is not to bring in somebody that's just as unproven, somebody that's maybe 2 years older, that's already proven in the league, is probably a better option. So I actually think Eze's age and experience is actually a good thing. 60 million is a lot with the release clause or like having to pay a lot up front, but it's really not that deep. Like when you really think about it, it's 26. It's not like it's 28, 29. Like, let's be serious. Jeremy says, bless morning. Bless morning. I love that. And Don Raj says, I just want to ask what's your priority, striker or lethal right wing, left wing? The priority, it's hard to say a priority just because it's like, I'm more concerned about just making sure we get at least one of those because I know the market dictates what we're going to do. So I don't want to be disingenuous and say, oh, it's a striker, even though I know that the striker market is crap and we're probably not going to get one. But I would say just actually my priority is actually midfield, if I'm honest. Like I've been pretty consistent on that midfield is definitely a priority, is the priority. In my opinion, I think the same issues that England are having with their midfield was very similar to what we were having at the beginning of season last season. An imbalanced midfield is never going to give you any like good results. I think a balanced midfield is the most important thing in order for a team to play the way that they want to play, especially Arsenal that want to play a good brand of football. You know what I mean? So I do believe that like getting the 6/8 is really important. A DM is really important, or somebody that can sit at the base of our midfield and be a good partner for Declan Rice is the biggest priority in my opinion. Then just addressing either one of striker or left wing, right wing is important. I think we're only going to get one of those. So if we could do either one, that's fine. Like I'm kind of like backed off of the idea that we'll get both because I just know we won't. Let's see. I'm using my left hand because he's just like right there. It's so, yeah. Clement says, it's hard to say right now what the club is prioritizing right now, as we have been linked to a lot of players as per usual. If we get to July and we haven't been a few players or sign a player. Here's the thing about that, because I did want to, talk about this too, is that, I think Gunner Blog had said that Arsenal, in order to bring in a left back, would need one of their current options to go. And so we had spoken about that. Like there are going to have to be some players that are moved on in order to like facilitate, I think, some of this. I don't think everything is based on sales. I think some of it is like making sure that you don't have, like, you really don't want to buy the left back and then be stuck with Kivior, Tommy, and Zinchenko. Like you want to make sure that you are moving players out and creating space so that you can have opportunities for players to solidify themselves in that position. So when you bring them in. And so, yeah, I think we're going to have to see some players go too. And that's why like the consistent Kivior rumor that's coming up is actually really interesting, because I actually think he'll have more suitors than Zinchenko will. I'd seen something yesterday. I don't think we actually spoke about it, but Calafiore or whatever his name is, did like the new hot commodity Italian defender. Um, Juventus have like cooled their interest in him, probably because they know that they probably can't pay the fee for him because they're broke. And so they're going to come there. They're going to bring their broke asses to Arsenal and ask for Kivior on loan. We already know that that's what's going to happen. And if Kivior wants to go, I can see us facilitating the loan because in my gut, I don't actually think it's working out. Like we're in a situation where we played really well where he was in the team, but I think idealistically if Arteta could have had any of his other options available to him at that point, he would have had that and Kivior wouldn't have played. And so it hasn't really worked out the way that it probably should. I don't think Arteta is in love with Kivior the way that he is with some of the other options that he has. I think he likes Tommy a lot more. I think, we had Kivior and Arteta was playing Timber there, Tommy there, everybody else there. So I don't think it's really working out, So from my perspective, it's like Kivior might be the one that needs to go, albeit on loan or maybe a sale. I doubt it. If he goes to Serie A, it won't be a sale. Then we can bring in the left back. With Eddie, Eddie's also been spoken about this morning as somebody that needs to go or has a fee. The fee that Arsenal are looking for Eddie is 50 million. 50 million. What do you guys think about that? Is that too much? Because there's one school of thought where every time we try to sell somebody, we try to sell them for cheap. Arsenal fans are upset about the fee. But when it's Eddie, I think some Arsenal fans want the fee to be so low so that we make sure he goes. 50 million is a lot for Eddie, in my opinion. If we were to get 30, I would be shocked, because I don't rate him. Like, I'll just be honest. I don't think he's that good, So, and I think, like, you think about like West Ham, they have the option to bring in Callum Wilson for 25. That's a much better deal. Callum Wilson at 30 years old for 25 million is better than Eddie at 25 for 50, because at least Callum Wilson actually is a good striker. Like, I think Eddie is very, very, very average, So Arsenal wanting 50 million for him, I guess I would ask them, why do they think 50 million is a good fee? I guess you could say the market and English and all this kind of stuff, but like in reality, like we're not getting 50 million for him. But what is your guys' feeling on the Eddie situation? Like, what would you put him up for? Like, what would be the fee that you'd be like bare minimum wanting to get for him? Because Eddie's just somebody to me that I'm like, 30 million would be good. Get him out, like move on. It's, it's time. But these types of high demands, I feel like could work against us a little bit. So, yeah, he's just not, I just cannot see him getting that type of fee. I'll be really, really honest. Really, really honest. Clement says Arsenal will be lucky to get 30 million for Eddie. 50 million is a dream that won't happen. And I agree. Like, I just cannot see it happening. I really, really can't. Praveen is saying English tax plus Premier League proven. Yeah, but English tax, I get that, but like he only been called up to the England team like once. Sometimes the England tax is like also like we paid a lot of tax for Declan Rice because he's plays for the national team, not just because he's English. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know. Zahid says he should go for more than Balogun. That's an interesting comparison. It's like, well, Balogun went for 30 million. To Monaco, which was a really good fee that we got for him, especially to a foreign club or like a club outside of England. I don't know. 30 million just feels like aboutish what we'll get. Because I just think about the other options that you could get. Like I said, Callum Wilson, I know that he's injury prone. But even being injury prone, I just feel like he's better than Eddie. Like, is he not? Like, are we all on the same page that he's better than Eddie? Tony is better than Eddie. Solanke's better than Eddie. Like, he's not on that tier. He's not in the Callum Wilson, Tony, Solanke tier. He's in the tier below. So, like if you would pay 50 million for Tony, 50 million for Solanke, maybe 25 million for Callum Wilson, where does Eddie kind of like fit in all that? He's 25, so it's not like he's some upstart, young kid trying to come up the ranks. He's like legitimately like a prime age average striker. Like I don't 50 million just sounds crazy. Let's see. says, and that's why we don't sell well when we, as fans, see our assets low and the rest of the market reacts the same. I mean, you can blame the fans. Like, I think some people blame the fans that like were the reason why the market or the the market doesn't rate our players is because the fans say that they're not any good. I guess my caveat to that, or my devil's advocate to that, is then why did Arsenal buy Kai Havertz? His market value should have plummeted because of the way that Chelsea fans are talking about Kai Havertz, but we went straight over there and gave them 65 million for him. If you want the player, you'll pay for them, regardless of what what the streets are saying about this player. So I actually don't think it's the fans. I think blaming it on the fans is a little bit like, we went right over to Chelsea and gave them 65 million for Kai Havertz. And he has at that stage, he had one of the, and still has one of the worst reputations out there as a player, in terms of like fans. But how people in actual football view Kai Havertz is much different than what the fans do. So is it really the fans that are dictating the market, or is it the people that are actually doing the business? Like, I don't actually believe that, if I'm honest. So yeah, but I kind of hear what you're saying. I'm seeing somebody saying we want Chilwell on loan. No, we cannot. Like, no more Chelsea. And then, and then, no more. But let's get into this Bakayoko stuff. Because I'm into it. I really am. You guys know I was talking about Bakayoko after we had played against them in the Champions League. I don't think he did that much in the home game, but in the game that we played in the Netherlands, he was cooked. He absolutely cooked. And I'm just thinking he's the exact type of winger that Arsenal need on that right-hand side, like to be able to compete or step in for Saka. He's direct. He's physical. He's fast. He's tricky. He scores goals, gets assists. He's a very good young player. And I think what a lot of Arsenal fans are kind of looking for is they want our version of Doku, and it's kind of maybe reductive because they play for the same national team, whatever. But yeah, I think that is what we're looking for, is somebody that adds to the squad. That's another really good player that can kind of like grow into the position. I think Doku might be like a year or two maybe older than Bakayoko, but he has all the tools to become a top winger. And I don't see why Arsenal wouldn't be interested in him. I think he's a very good option. But basically, let's see what the actual, so DH Sports, which is it's a Belgium-based publication. So yeah, they were saying that Arsenal could be, and this is all like translated, so whatever, but Arsenal could beat the competition from major rivals to sign PSV winger Johan Bakayoko. The Gunners are now the number one track, I guess, in the number one position for the young Belgium. There's currently no question of an agreement, which I think that translates to there's right now there's no agreement. That's what I would say that means. There's currently no question of an agreement. Was probably translated improperly. It's probably there is no agreement, but the deal is moving in the right direction. And so when you think this is coming from a Belgium-based publication, this is probably coming from his side of the conversation, that we are speaking to him, but we haven't spoken to PSV yet. And so then why haven't we spoken to PSV? Where's the PSV side of things? A tier one, a Netherlands-based journalist spoke today about Arsenal's interest in Bakayoko. And this is the same person that was like on the pulse with Timber, which is Rick Elfrink, was saying that Arsenal have inquired about PSV striker or attacker Johan Bakayoko, but according to those involved, there is certainly no offer yet to take action, which I feel like is the same thing that the Belgian article did say, was that even though it was translated improperly, I feel like what he was saying, there's no agreement yet. And then this last line is, and given the presence of Bukayo Saka, the question is whether it is the perfect next step for him. Finish the European Championship first, then more. I feel like that's a little bit more of his own kind of feeling on it. I don't know if that's actually information that he would know. I think it's more like, why would they want him? They already have Saka. I feel like that's more what he's saying. But that is always, I feel like, going to be the stumbling block in bringing in somebody like Bakayoko. Do I think he'd want to come? Yes. Do I think he'd fit in perfectly? Yes. Do I think that we want him? Yes. But can Arteta convince him that there's going to be playing time for him and opportunities for him at Arsenal with Saka there? And if I was a player that wanted to come to Arsenal, those are the questions that I would be asking, because based on how things have gone so far, yeah, do you actually think that you're going to play? And so Arteta has to be, I feel, prepared, because there's no point in bringing somebody in if you're not going to ever play them or rest Saka. Like, there has to be some sort of give, or there's no point in even looking at this position. And this is why I've been a little bit more interested in finding a left winger than a right winger, because in my gut of guts, I feel like if that player cannot play on the left, they won't play. That's what my gut of guts is saying. My gut of gut is saying that if we bring in a winger and they don't have the ability to be flexible and go to the left, then they won't play, because Arteta is going to continue to play Saka no matter what. And Saka's mostly always fit. So if I was Bakayoko, I'd be asking that question. Would I want to come? Absolutely. But where are my opportunities going to come from? And that's the most important thing. Sasha Tavliaberry said he's heard nothing. He's the Belgian Ornstein. He also said that we were signing Yuri Tielemans. Like, no, I'm not even going to hold you. Sasha Tavliaberry has gotten nothing right for Arsenal ever when it comes to a Belgian player. He was talking about we were in advanced negotiations for Onana 2 days ago. So respectfully, he knows nothing. He's actually gotten nothing wrong, like nothing right from an Arsenal perspective. Not one thing. Nothing. I don't know why Arsenal fans believe Sasha Tavliaberry. He's never gotten anything right for us. So, and again, he said he's heard nothing, but who is this? He's heard nothing, but then Rick Elfrick, or whatever his name is, said that there has been contact, there has been an inquiry. So I think I'm going to go with the guy that was on the pulse for the Timber deal, and also the guy that got the Sambi news right, and probably ignore Sasha, who said we were signing Yuri Tielemans. Oh, and that we were in advanced negotiations for Onana, which Ornstein actually said there's no chance of us signing Onana. So Sasha is not reliable, like in any way, shape, or form. Like, he's not. Shubham says this is the first publication that broke Lakanga to Arsenal. Exactly. So I'm gonna go with people that have actually gotten things right for Arsenal. I'll be really honest with you guys. Like, I think what Ethric, or whatever his name is, said actually makes the most sense. Is that Arsenal are interested, but they'll probably have to do some convincing for him to believe that he's going to get playing time. And so that's why it would be better to bring in somebody like a Nico Williams or somebody like a Pedro Neto that can play on both sides because there's more opportunities. Because anybody that comes in that only plays on the right has to know that their playing time will be limited. Because the idea that Saka is actually going to have competition is hilarious. Like, it's not happening. Like, we know Saka's not going to have any sort of like real competition. Like, right? We all kind of know that. But he's a really good player. I would take Bakayoko in a second if I felt like Arteta would give him playing time, and having like him and Eze come in would be lovely. But this is another reason why, and I hate to bring up old shit, but I must bring up old shit. Kudus was the one. And I'll stand on that because if we had been able to get him, we would have somebody that could cover right wing but could also play in midfield. And he would solve more of our problems. He would have solved more of our problems than probably any of the players that we have been linked to this summer. So if we wanted a more versatile person. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. Would take Bakayoko, but I could completely like understand so when am I gonna get playing time? Like where is that gonna come from? Um, so yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. Don Raj says Kimmich, Kadioglu, and right wing, left wing Neto or Pedro Neto would be a 9 out of 10 window. Kimmich wants to play for one of the top teams, and we're on that list. Basically, he wants to play in Champions League. That's what I kind of gathered from it. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool. That says I want to play Champions League. So and he's available this summer. And Bayern are going to bring in a six, so they're going to bring in a six. They'll probably, do something else at right back. So he'll probably be available. Will Arsenal go for him? I don't know, but at like a 25 million for a really experienced, and this is where I'm saying like the difference between Eze being 26 and being 60 million is that 26 is significantly different than somebody being 29. Kimmich will play. Let's give him 3 to 4 more years at the top level if he's able to stay fit. And so, like, yeah, 25 million is probably the most you'd want to play for somebody like Kimmich. But Eze, 26 and being 60 million is completely different. Like, he's in his prime. So 60 million makes sense for Eze. That's not that old for a Premier League proven like player like Eze. Matt G says bringing the fire for the in the nose. I'm just saying track records are super important. I think track records are really important. I think going back and looking and seeing, okay, did you get things right? Did you get things wrong? Like how credible have you been on our side of things? Sasha has gotten nothing right. Not one thing for us. He said advanced negotiations for Onana like 2 days ago. Hello, like he don't know nothing. Like he really not for us. And to be honest, I don't remember him getting much right for anybody. Let me look. Let me get on this, bro. I'm not trying to say he doesn't know shit, but what I am trying to say is I don't think he's that reliable for us. I'm looking. Let's actually let's go. Sasha Tavolieri Arsenal. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going through some of his like most recent stuff. Yuri Tielemans stay in Arsenal's target list, ready to make a second bid next for LCFC midfielder, as announced yesterday. Arteta valid profile, and next week will be decisive. Did we ever make a bid on Yuri Tielemans? I don't think we did. Ready to make a second bid. We didn't even bid to begin with. Let's see. On May 17th, he said Arsenal is coming to Istanbul with an offer of 35 million euros for Ferdi Kadioglu. Did we ever make a bid for Ferdi Kadioglu? That's what I'm saying. This guy don't know nothing. Like he really doesn't. But okay, this is something else that he said. He said, as somebody asked him most likely place, he said, never said that it won't be Arsenal, by the way. So he's already backtracking, saying, I never said it won't be Arsenal. But it's just to the date current situation on Bakayoko at the moment. Liverpool are still on it and Chelsea too. So there's multiple teams involved, there's multiple teams that are interested. And listen, if he's looking for a place to land and be an immediate starter, then he'll probably want to go to like somewhere like Chelsea because they're actually looking for somebody to start, which I feel like is just so strange because like I know that they want to move. Where are all these players going to play? Like what what are they about to do? Because it's like they have Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer has to start. So he's a number 10. So does that mean Nkunku is not going to play? Because Nkunku plays number 10, but can also play number 9. So does that mean that they're not going to buy a striker? Like they're just buying for buying sake. And what happens to Madweki? So there's still a lot of shifting to go on. I saw Newcastle are interested in like Bowen, but Newcastle could also be interested in Noni Madueke if Chelsea were to bring in Bakayoko. So, and Chelsea are not going to go for Nico Williams. That was confirmed today. So there's still a lot of shifting to go on. Arsenal being interested in Bakayoko makes a lot of sense. But do we make the most sense for him? If he wants to be like an immediate starter, no. But if he wants to play Champions League, yes. So we'll see. It's also been confirmed that um, um, Diamande has never been on our list. So that sucks. That sucks. Let's see what you guys are saying. Um, Dean says, let's be honest. A lot of in the knows just regenerate stories, or it's just common sense about the links, etc. Like if I wanted to be in the know, I could be a really good one. I could be really good at it. Like making up the little story, saying things that are like, um, Arsenal like the look of Bakayoko. An inquiry has been made, but nothing has been set yet. Arsenal love the player and maybe will think about put in an offer at some stage in the window, but they have more guys on the list. Like all you have to do is just never be committal. Like to be in the know, you just have to be non-committal. Say things that fans like, which is the name, and then just make sure that you always have an exit. I never said for sure, so you can always say I never said for sure. Like that's always how it goes. Like it's just not that hard to become an in the know. But the Sasha guy, I'm not trying to say he doesn't know anything, but he's never gotten anything right for Arsenal. So I'm gonna go with the guy that was right about the Timber stuff. He knows what's going on from at least PSV perspective, which is we have not contacted them yet, but we're probably talking to him, trying to convince him that he has a place at Arsenal. Will he say yes? Maybe not, So yeah. I would say like, I mean, the old adage, Tawana saying right here, the old adage is until I see the Arsenal signing video, I ain't nobody. And that's the old adage, unless you see him on the website, it hasn't happened, so I totally like understand that. I'm just saying that like I do think that being linked to Nico Williams, being linked to Bakayoko, we're probably leaning more towards getting a winger than a striker at this stage, and that's fine. I think that's fine. Just whether or not we find the right person is kind of where we're at. United bid for PSG's Ugarte. That's crazy. Um, what do you guys think of him, Ugarte? I saw that somebody was saying that like it's another Premier League team interested in him, but I'm not gonna hold y'all. I haven't seen anything from him that I've particularly loved for PSG. When he played for Sporting against us in the Europa League, people are making a big deal out of him, but I don't know. What do you guys think about Ugarte? I don't think I'd want him at Arsenal. Um, Melly says we are all AFC Bell at heart. I loved AFC Bell, that little run that he had. I thought that was fun. I like fun transfer. I like fun transfers. I don't like it to be like all stressful. Like that was fun. I mean, the Partey Awar thing I thought was funny, and the file and Edu going up to Atletico Madrid with a briefcase full of money. I thought that was funny. I did. I liked it. I enjoyed that way more than like the Declan Rice situation and the Madrid situation. I thought those are just too stressful. But you know what I think also with those is because other Premier League teams were involved, and that's the thing now is no matter who we're going after, another Premier League team is always involved, and I feel like a lot of it is put on because they want to have they want transfers to be a drama, and it's not. I don't like it. So yeah. But in terms of Bakayoko, we'll see what happens with that. Nico Williams, we know we're interested in wages and all that kind of stuff. Pedro Neto, we know the issues with him. So there are some options out there. And maybe there's somebody else that we're looking at that hasn't come to the forefront, like somebody that we haven't looked or haven't heard anything about just yet. And Eze, I really do think we're interested in him. I really do. I do really think we're interested in him. If we can't find a number 6, we'll probably go for a number 8 instead, which is exactly what we should do. If we can't get the perfect number 6, no, can't get João Neves, can't get Bruno Guimaraes, can't get any of these guys. Don't just let other holes be there. Get the number 8 that you want. Play Declan Rice in the 6, and just move on. Just move on. If you're willing to play Kai Havertz at left 8, you can play Eze at left 8. Like, we will survive. At least he's an actual midfielder. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm into it. Let's see. Let's go through a couple more comments before we get out of here. This is just a shorter one, guys, because obviously England play and we have to get ready for the watch-along. And there's not that much to talk about, so I don't want to sit here and, as you guys would say, waffle for too long. Let's see. Terrence says, we don't want Williams, nor do we need him. Otani says, Ugarte is good, box-to-box destroyer, not a possession midfielder, doesn't really fit Enrique's system. Nico says, at least they went to Bayern, go shine baller. Boy says, just allow me my delusion on you one day, fair. And O'Malley says, he is a fouling machine. And Jude says, what's wrong with Williams? I don't know why some people don't like Williams. I really don't. I don't really see the hate on him. Like, we don't want him. We don't need him. Like, we 100% need a winger. Like, we 100% need a winger. Like one like him or Pedro Neto. So I don't share that sentiment. I don't share it at all. Let's see. Nico says, Jess, thoughts on Calafiori? He looks great. He looks great. Like, I get it. I see the vision. Like, I see why everybody is like, oh my gosh, like the headband, the long hair, it's giving nostalgia. And he looks like a good player. A good player that will probably stay in Serie A. Like, let's keep it up. Like, he's probably going to stay in Serie A. Juventus will find a way to fraud their way into getting him maybe another Serie A team. And if he doesn't stay in Serie A, he'll end up somewhere in Europe. He's not. I don't think he's going to come to the UK. But I think he looks like a good player. But I've only seen him play like twice. So but I get the vibe because like João Neves, like Endrick, like these types of players, they're like once they get the hype going, it's like people are like gagging for it. Like they're just like, and so I get it, but I'm probably not gonna lose my whole mind over him like some people are. Errol says, hi, just getting ready to watch the Dutch great team. The Dutch. The Dutch haven't looked good. Can I just say this first? Let me just say this about the Euros. The Euros has been great. The Euros have been great. The games, those obscure games, and excuse me for saying obscure if you're from one of these countries that aren't one of the main ones, like that. I'm not saying that those are important games, but we were all looking forward to or a lot of us, especially those of us who don't live in Europe, we're looking forward to the Portugals and the France and the Englands. They've all been shit. Genuinely, they haven't been that great. Even Germany is starting to look a little, But those games, those Slovenia, Slovakia, them games, Turkey, Georgia games, them games been good. Those games have been good. I've enjoyed so many of those games. I'm looking forward to doing the watch along because I love hanging out with you guys. I'm not looking forward to England, Slovenia. I'm more excited to watch Sesko than anything. It's like because I know they're gonna sneak out. So but I'm gonna support my babies. I'm gonna support my babies, my Rice, my Declan, my Kayo. But child, the games that have been fun are those obscure games. Those games have been amazing. Um, Also, I went to Brazil, Costa Rica yesterday. That was so smelly. It was so smelly, you guys. It was so bad. It ended 0-0, obviously, but for Brazil to draw their first Copa America game 0-0 to Costa Rica, they had Joel Campbell on the pitch, Costa Rica. Joel Campbell on the pitch, and Brazil couldn't do anything, nothing. But I'm meant to believe that it's because Gabrielle. It's because of Martinelli. No, y'all just ain't that good. You guys are not good. I'm not even gonna hold you. You guys are not good. And Ronaldinho did not lie. He said, "This is not football," and I agree because that was horrendous. It was the best part about that game was Endrick running out there with his collar popped. Like that was the best part because I was like, look at it. Like people were cheering so hard for him. They were cheering harder for him than anybody else. And he didn't even do anything. He didn't even do anything. Like it was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy is so he's already got the hype. It's already here. Martin Ed says Joel's still playing. He was out there. Sarita says Ronaldinho was right. It may have came off as hate, but he ain't lying. Praveen says, which player surprised you at the Euros? Um, which player surprised me? I don't know if I've had like a surprise player. I think I would just say that like I've genuinely enjoyed some of the younger players because I think this is a younger player Euros, if that makes sense. I feel like we're looking for João Neves, we're looking at Calafiori, we're looking at you know Lamine Yamal, like we're looking at Nico Williams. Like those are the players that I feel like have been the most fun to watch and have been the most like Arda Guler, like they've been the ones that have really given the vibe. If I'm honest, so not really a particular player has stood out to me. I'm just enjoying. This is a young players tournament this time around. Like they're the players that are getting it done. They're the players that are the most fun to watch. And so yeah, like I'm looking forward to most of that. Um, but we're about to sit here and watch Conor Gallagher run around. Pedri, it's a young players tournament. Like I really do think the young players are the ones that are making the most, noise, if that makes sense. So even like, I know he hasn't scored, but Sesko, he's fun to watch, Musiala is another one. Musiala and Wirtz. So it's a young players tournament. I said this before the tournament even started. I'm like, ain't nobody looking forward to no damn Croatia. I was seeing people going, I feel so bad for Croatia. And why? Can somebody explain to me why we feel bad for Croatia? I'm waiting. Did nobody want to see them in a group stage or in a knockouts again? We want to see them do what? Draw 0-0 and go to penalties again? I was so happy when Italy scored. I do not hate the players on Croatia, but I cannot watch them in another knockout. Genuinely, I want to see somebody else, anyone else, but Croatia. They don't even have anybody fun to watch. Brozovic, Kovacic, Modric. I don't want to see that anymore. I'm bored. Okay. Also, Doku was really good for Belgium the other day. So again, it's a young players tournament. We're not trying to watch no freaking Modric in them. Modric's last tournament, yeah, I get that, but it's just like, guys, like seriously, just because it's his last tournament doesn't mean we need to see them in the latter stages. I'm not gonna hold y'all. No, there's nothing I want more than for them to just like, I'm done. I get that it's like their golden generation, but it's like I'm done. I'm tired. But yeah, guys, make sure you guys sign up for the watch along. It's going to start in like 5 minutes. So I'm going to head over there now. It's on TIFO. The link is in the description. Click the link, use code Jessica to join. I'm about to turn the game on now, and we can all suffer Southgate ball one more time. Probably not one more time, but you know what I mean. Another time watching Declan and Saka. So make sure you guys join. Like this video, subscribe to the channel on your way out as well. And we will be back tomorrow with more nonsense. Basically, we're just biding our time until July, guys. Like once we get to July and we get that first Bamba, y'all, it's going. I'm just waiting for the Bamba. It's coming. Every morning I wake up, I'm like, is this gonna be the day? It's gonna happen in July, and we will be on and popping. Okay, but make sure you guys, like I said, like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. And I will see you guys on the next one. Yeah. Bye, guys.